Yu-Gi-Oh! Is an amazing card game with tons of opportunities to create, mix, and explore different things. But it's also pretty expensive, and dudes don't really have the money for it right now. However, we've set out to do our own sealed only challenge. Although, until we're actually able to buy the cards that we'll need, we'll have to settle with online services, honing and sharpening our skills until we're ready. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Unsealed. Alright, hello humans, welcome back to the 5th episode of Unsealed. This is actually going to be the part 2 to episode 4, where we go over some of the duels. I do have 2 duels for you today. The first one's a fairly short one, where we're going up against Raid Raptors. The second one is a actual duel against zombies. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So we weren't able to get that person. Looks like we actually found our person that we're going to be jumping in with. We're both ready, and here we go. Now, in regards to the way that Senkas work, again, one of the things that I mentioned before was the overall sort of viability for each of the cards and how well they work together. So I'm facing off against Lord Inns. He's using, I believe, a Blackwing / Raid Raptor style deck, and Blackwings are an interesting style, more or less an interesting archetype, I would say overall. I feel like the start of combos really began when Blackwings first became super popular. Sure, we had decks like Gladiator Beast, and Six Samurais kind of like just came out, but I really feel like Blackwings were the first consistent like combo, really hard combo style deck that would summon a lot of monsters and then synchro into a lot of different things. And then everything else kind of like followed suit. I think the popularity of Blackwing so far like has been a testament to that in the sense that like they've gotten consistent support all the way up to the point where like some of their cards have gotten banned, some of their cards have gotten limited, so on and so forth, because of how like viable and how really good they are, not only as a dark archetype but as a wing beast archetype as well. They work really well amongst themselves. So now it's currently my turn, and I have possibly one of the better hands that I've gotten with Senkas. Running with both 10 key and 3 visits. Any time that you really start with 3 visits in your hand, you're pretty much better off than, I would say, a majority of people. So I'm going to summon Liu Xuan. I'm going to activate 3 visits effect to bring Zhang Dai to my hand, which is something that I probably shouldn't have done, but nonetheless, it's still a useful move to do. So I'll activate Liu Xuan's effect. This time I'm going to send 3 visits, and I can send 10 key, but 3 visits I might as well just like let it go, because there's really nothing else that I need primarily to get the rest of my move started. So I'm going to special summon Zhougong. I'm going to activate 3 visits effect to then special summon Lu Jing. And then now is where you can kind of like chain one into the other. But the minute that like you summon 4 monsters against your opponent, they kind of just give up. So that's kind of hopefully what we can hope to expect going up against certain types of decks. Now again, it's not always going to be the case, and decks that are able, like I mentioned before, to really stop special summoning, being mindful of Nibiru, being mindful of Sphere Mode, etc. Those are cards that we're going to have to look out for as well, because it's such a heavy going second special summoning deck. That's why we run Nibiru, that's why we run Ash Blossom in our hand. But for a situation like this, like what we're seeing right now, this is another one of those scenarios where, again, I really say, like, Senkas need their own version of Kizan. Like, if they get that, then they might be a little bit more viable. But with a hand like this, you're not really going to be expecting much. So I have to just end my turn. I would summon Zhougong, but it's not even worth losing him at this point to then get the card that I need. And lo and behold, we're facing off against zombies. And I think it's also kind of ironic. I think the person that I'm facing, his name is Satan, but that's besides the point. So we're going to see how well this goes. I'm going to take a quick 1600. Now I can't tribute monsters. Thankfully, I'm not running my Simorg deck, so it's not that bad, but it's still not what we would want our deck, or really even just our our turn to really look like. So we'll activate Tenki. We're not going to chain it to our Ash Blossom. Instead, we're going to add a level 4. I think we're going to go for Lu Jing. I think my main goal back when I remembered this duel was trying to get rid of Zombie World, because immediately when I see Zombie World, I automatically think that this person's running Ballard Rock. And I think that that's one of the things that, like, again, it goes back to, like, overall, there are certain cards that are made for certain archetypes that clearly aren't made fairly for other archetypes as well. Case in point, a card like that. A card, yes, it does rely on you keeping your field spell, but who cares? Like, in the long run, when you have something that can just be special summoned each time, and it's a level 8, so you just, like, send it to the graveyard. Like, and there are a multitude of cards that send cards to the graveyard. Case in point, he summons Unizombie. So he's going to discard a card, and I think he's going to send a card. I think he's going to discard there's a level 4 monster, I believe, or a level 3. It's some type of monster that exists that allows you to get Zombie World, but instead he just goes for Ballard Rock. So I already know this card's going to come back next standby phase, which is, like, again, it's just, you know, it's perfect. It's perfect facing off against this type of deck. And while I do complain, it's something that I will say is very helpful, because it allows me to realize where my deck falls short and what to kind of look out for so that I can better prepare my side deck for it. I'd much rather run into this on a virtual setting than, and even if I ran into it in a real world setting, I feel like I wouldn't have the mindset to think like, okay, so how can I think about what I would need? I think running into something like this in a virtual setting gives me a lot more time, especially with the absence of money. It's like I haven't spent money on the cards that I'm showing yet, so I'm not looking like, okay, well, I can't just use all of these cards. I have to get rid of some, and so on and so forth. I can now think, okay, so if I face off against someone like this that's running a zombie deck that isn't really commonplace but could show up, it's like, how can I counteract against that? What cards would I need? Would I have to wait until Eternity Code to get the 2 cards that we mentioned in the last video? And just to say that again, just watch all of our videos on the Artist with the Fro YouTube channel. But would I have to get something like that in order to circumvent not only the attack power of this type of monster, but really just its overall effect, the ability to tribute my monsters as zombies with Zombie World? Do I have enough spell and trap card destruction? Do I have enough, like, monster card availability to really, like, show for it? If I had something like this, like, I'm thinking, like, where would Zhang Yuan show up? So right now, if he's attacking me, I could special summon it. He's going in for an attack, but he's going to activate his Revandred's card to then send Mizuki to the grave to then have my monster lose that much attack points. Or rather, lose attack, I think, based off of the stars. And then Mizuki's just going to be removed from play. He's going to special summon something. I think he goes for Unizombie. It wouldn't make sense for him to summon Ballard Rock, just because he's going to come back next standby phase. Yeah, so he goes for Unizombie. And right now, it's not the best setup for me. So what can I do in this type of sense? Now he has Zombie Sucker, or Vampire Sucker. And Vampire Sucker is going to allow him to draw a card immediately when a zombie is special summoned. So sure, I can Nibiru it, but what good really is Nibiru doing for me right now? Like, I'll be able to run over the card with Nibiru. The minute that my standby phase activates, he's going to then go for Ballard Rock. So you're going to see that chain right about now. I don't know why it says waiting. I mean, there's really nothing else that I can do to get over it at this moment. And my best bet is really just to attack. Now, I'm not exactly sure if that's what I go for, but I think that's what I should do. I hope that that's what I do, but it doesn't seem like I'm going to have the wherewithal. I seem to be contemplating going into my battle phase, but the smart thing for me to do right now is to attack. So if I run into Ballard Rock, I should just automatically kill it instead of having him choose to negate something. Unfortunately, that's not what I do. I end up going for my card. And this is where Sunmo, this is, again, like, it's another one of those moments where, like, you think, like, okay, should I have done something differently? And the answer to that is yes. But granted, this turn doesn't go too bad. I'm able to activate Sunmo's effect. I think this is where we then remove 3 visits just to get Liu Xuan on the field as fast as possible. Because the minute that I have Sun Mo and Liu Xuan, I can then summon Zhang De, and then I can kind of like lock out both of my cards. So he Solemn Strikes me, 3 visits. I mean, sure, I can summon something, but it's not really, at this point, it's not really going to be viable. So I'll just summon, I think I summoned Lu Jing in defense. But the smarter move, looking back on it, would have probably been to summon Zhang De in attack position. I can't cancel out my effect, so I have to summon one of them. And it seems, again, that I'm really just contemplating what to do. When I really should just be going for Lu Jing. So, or rather, not Lu Jing. I should be going for Zhang De. So, am I going to get rid of... Oh, and I don't even summon... Wow. So, this is a very bad, like, move on my end. I mean, there are things that you learn in loss and in defeat. And getting rid of Zombie World should have just been my first, like, go-to. I should have tried to get rid of that card as fast as possible. Knowing that Ballardrock comes back every standby phase is not good. And it doesn't help overall when you're faced with a type of deck like this and you're looking at like I don't want to say overpowered, but really just how flexible of a deck it is under certain circumstances. He's able to get Vampire Sucker out. He's able to activate Glow Bloom's effect to then special summon another zombie. And then it's like everything chains in for him. So in order for me to be a competent duelist when I have the cards that I need, it's going to be a matter of me learning the circumstances and learning what I need to do when facing off against certain archetypes. I think there might be some gameplay in here because of the new recent Red Eyes card that came out. And I know that that's pretty funny too for us to talk about how we mentioned, I think in episode 2, how Red Eyes aren't getting that much support. And then lo and behold, they got their new fusion card that's really overpowered. So we're really going to have to talk more about running into those types of decks because that's running rampant online as well. And I think another deck that obviously we're going to have to look out for Orcus, we're going to have to look out for Sky Striker, we're going to have to look out for Salamangreat. I think we're also going to have to look out for Rockets as well. I think Rockets is the type of deck that we also don't really have a lot of outs for if we run into it. Guard Dragon, I don't think anybody's necessarily playing that anymore, but you never know. So prepare for the worst and hope for the best, I guess, is the motto that we should always go for. He's going to attack my Liu Xuan, and then he's going to send a card to then reduce my attack. Now, he sent a Shiranui, so he could have activated something else if he wanted to. But at this point, like, there's really nothing I can do. The minute I activate something, he can negate it. If I summon a monster, or if I special summon a monster, he gets to draw a card. And now he has 2 Ballardrocks, and so he basically can just run the gauntlet twice on me. And my hand is not exactly the best. So I can activate Pot of Desires, I can mill my cards, but it's not going to help me out when he has, Dark Bribe. So it's like, at that point, I don't really have anything else better to do, so I kind of just give him the game. And this is, again, just another learning experience for us. So that's pretty much going to end. I know we are about to go into another duel, but I'll save this for the next video. That's actually going to end the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of like learning experience and more vlog in referendum, I guess, post-lost segment type of thing. I guess I can probably include more of these. I feel like this type of commentary is good as we get ready to prepare for the actual sealed event. And then we'll actually be able to look back on some of these videos and be like, all right, now we know what to do if we're ever faced with those types of situations. But that's going to end it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. My name is The Artist with the Fro, and I messed up my own outro, but I'll go with that. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you all. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like and follow us. We do have a Twitter, we do have a Discord, and we do have an Instagram, all of which are linked in the description below. Thank you guys, and have a great evening.